Thousands of students, faculty, Nashvillians, and tourists commute around Vanderbilt's campus every day using major roads such as Weston Avenue and 21st Avenue South. As civil engineers, it is imperative that we design our surrounding traffic systems to be safe and convenient for all users. On the safety front, pedestrians, cyclists, and scooterists are the most vulnerable. In Nashville, the number of pedestrian fatalities is on the rise, with 39 fatalities in 2021. Around Vanderbilt's campus, pedestrians can experience erratic high-speed driving, construction blockage, and short signal times. Current traffic design is reactive, responding to crashes and fatalities, rather than proactive to avoid the fatalities from the start. Our project aims to pilot a stress data collection methodology to quantitatively assess road danger prior to accidents. We use this data, along with surveys and traffic expert input, to redesign several intersections around campus.
Gresham Smith, our amazing sponsor, developed technology that uses typical consumer-grade smartwatches, think Apple Watches, Fitbits, and the technology Strava that turns heart rate data into a stress measurement while people are walking around. It's simple. You just opt in to share your data with Gresham Smith and then start a walk on the Strava app on your own watch. As people walk, bike, and jog, their data populates into a heat map that shows the area where people are stressed throughout campus, where the height is the number of entries and the color represents the level of stress, from blue to red.
The thought process behind selecting our locations incorporated many factors, including wearable technology Strava data, transportation data, and survey responses from the Vanderbilt community. As senior students, we had some insight into stressful parts of campus from our own experiences as well. Keeping all these aspects in consideration, we selected locations of interest along West End and 21st Avenue South, two major streets bordering our campus. We decided to focus on a long stretch of West End as construction and the resulting traffic for vehicles has coincidentally made the area more stressful for pedestrians. This stretch spans West End's intersection with 21st to its intersection with 25th. On 21st Avenue South, we chose two intersections that are commonly used by the Vanderbilt community, at Scarrett Place and at Grand Avenue. These intersections allow for pedestrians to cross from our campus to numerous restaurants, retail stores, and Vanderbilt parking, as well as student housing. This results in a high frequency of Vanderbilt community members crossing, and therefore an increased incident rate for them as well. Next, Crystal will talk about our redesign process for these locations.
First, we collected data about the existing conditions such as crashes, pedestrian, cyclist, and vehicle volumes, planned developments along the area, and surveyed people traveling through these areas to determine what kind of redesigns are the most impactful. Guided by the TDOT Multimodal Guide, the ITE Traffic Calming Guide, and NACTO Road Design Guides, we started redesigning the infrastructure to be more pedestrian and cyclist friendly. On West End, we looked at various traffic calming measures to slow down car speeds, which increases pedestrian safety and comfort. These include medians, street trees, street furniture, wider sidewalks, and bulb outs to reduce crossing distance. At 21st Avenue, we have such high pedestrian traffic that it makes sense to prioritize the pedestrian experience. Given that these intersections are entrances to campus, we added an all-way crossing and raised intersection to emphasize the space as a pedestrian area.
We decided to utilize SketchUp and StreetMix to provide universally understandable and easily digestible visualizations for our designs. And so with StreetMix, we're able to easily display the cross-section of specific roadways where we have reevaluated several intersections, and in order to show what traveling down these corridors will look like to commuters of all types. And with SketchUp, we've drawn up the full scope of our final intersection designs and have been able to render the final designs to give a complete visual experience of our proposed infrastructure. We've also modeled both the existing infrastructure as well as our finalized designs in order to keep track of our whole design process, because of course the design process is not a linear path. And ideally the next step would be for us to return to asking to commuters and local stakeholders about their opinions of our proposed infrastructure and using their feedback to inform our redesign.
I cannot speak highly enough about the student group as well as the partnership that Gresham Smith has established with Vanderbilt over this senior design project. I think at its core, us using the Empathic platform that I've been working on for a couple years through Studio X, which is our innovation incubator at Gresham Smith, using that as the basis for a lot of the conclusions that the students have been able to draw out through this design process is incredible. I think it's challenging basically how we can approach safety projects. And it's really looking at how users respond to an environment. And that environment can cause stress, and that environment can induce situations that cause us to make a mistake. And unfortunately, in especially safety projects, a lot of those end in loss of life. And so again, at its core, the engineers are responsible for the safety and well-being of everyone in public space. And I think the students, through this process, through the use of this new data set with the Empathic platform at its core, as well as just their engineering process, I think it's yielded real feasible and viable alternatives to improve safety around campus.